What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have another Pokemon, news announcement, and this time around it's about regionals that are coming up in the fall time. Now I know we still have Worlds coming up, but this is a pretty big announcement. Right here you can see on the Houston Pokemon Facebook page, it says, you probably figured out by looking at the LC's format, Houston Regionals will be expanded format for Swiss and Top Cut. That means no longer there's a Day 2 expanded, it's all expanded. So Day 1 and Day 2 are both expanded. That'll be black and white owned all the way up to Ancient Origins. I think that's like 20 plus sets. And that's a lot of cards we have to worry about, and a lot of different decks, a lot of different combinations that you actually had to test for. And I'm actually kind of excited. I know some people will say that, be like, Squeaky, you never done great in expanded Day 2. But the problem I always had was I would put so much time and effort testing for Day 1. I didn't really have time to test for expanded. So now with this out of the way, I could just, just test for just expanded for the day 1 and Day 2 and not have to worry about switching decks, which that's the main thing I always didn't like. But hopefully, maybe you'll have your own opinion about it. And I actually took time to ask some of the Pokemon players in the game what they think about this, news update. Now, in these text messages I sent them, I actually asked, what do you think if all regionals for the fall were expanded and not just Houston? I have a feeling that all the regionals are going to be expanded and not just Houston. And some of the people asked were Brent Pybus, Serena, asked Kevin Baxter, and asked Dylan Dreyer. So we'll see those text messages here in a second, and we'll talk about them. Alright, so here's the text messages I have from Brent. Now, some of these messages are longer than others, and sometimes we just discuss more things. But I say, Brent, what if regionals was all expanded? Would you like that or not? And he says, it would be fine. And I said, okay, do you think expanded hurts newer players, though, because it's harder to get older cards? And he says, not really. And one of the main thing that people are arguing right now, it's going to be harder to get cards that are black and white, and noble victories and stuff like that because they're not really in print anymore. But I said short and sweet, and he says competitive players just by singles, so harder it's just a question of how much effort they're willing to Google. So Brett just basically eliminates that problem by saying, you can just buy the singles, you don't have to buy packs, and you have multiple options to buy cards. You can buy them through 60 cards, Squeak's Game World, there's Troll and Toad, there's Collector's Cash, I think Pokebeach, eBay, Amazon. There's a lot of different options that you can buy singles from. And do you think these cards would have do you think they would have to have a ban cards for the tournaments or not? So basically, I asked him, do you think they would have to ban some certain cards? And he said only if they're broken. And then I asked, do you think they would have enough inside testing for the first regionals to ban certain cards or not? And he says, it's something broken. The thing is, I haven't tested it all, so I don't know it's broken. People are like complaining that like Executor File Plume would be broken. It seems like it would be broken just because you can get a turn 1 Executor, shut down supporters, shut down trainer cards, and basically your opponent can only draw for the turn and play what they have in their hand. So let's keep going. Brit. So he says, is something broken? I said, I have no clue. I just didn't know how Pokemon would know. And then he said, nah, they would need results first. So basically he says that they wouldn't have a ban list till after fall regionals. So maybe we had to wait, or maybe the first week we could see what wins the first week of fall regionals. So that would be Houston, and then after that we can implement a ban list by that. So next up we have Dylan Dreyer, and he said, what if regionals are all expanded? Would you like that or not? And he said, heck no. He said, I want all standard. No suspended tournament ever again, in my opinion. And he said he would like a tournament series altogether. He said, hopefully Pokemon will work with the players. I'm one of those players that thinks expanded should be reserved for an LCS or maybe a whole nother tournament series. Like maybe something similar to an LCS but always expanded. So maybe he's saying maybe they can make a whole nother tournament. Maybe make like an expanded tournament. Not like regionals. I'm not really sure how they would do this. Maybe have a different point structure for this because it's a different kind of tournament. Maybe make it not much as regionals, but make it maybe worth more than cities. That'd be something cool because right now regionals does give a lot of points. So if it's all expanded and you don't have time to test for it, you can easily lose out on 150 plus points. The big question is state's going to be all expanded or not, because the way Pokemon works now is standard and expanded are together. And they actually count together. You can have 4 of those. So maybe states hopefully will be standard, and maybe regionals will be saved for just expanded. All right, so next up we have Kevin Baxter, and his is kind of short here too. I said, "What if regionals all expanded?" He said, I don't know. It'd mean more testing, but it's probably better than what they've been doing. Although I only didn't like when they just did a top 8 cut. I was fine with top 32 being expanded. So basically, what he said here is there were some tournaments where it cut straight to a top 8, and it was expanded. So that was you didn't really need to get to play against a lot of different expanded decks. You kind of just played against those 7 people. Whereas the top 32, you get to play against a bunch of different expanded decks. And I guess kind of see where he's coming from. It's just you don't get to play against a larger pool, and you can kind of predict what people are going to play. If you look at people who are going to play, we're playing throughout the year, you can easily be like, oh, this person's going to play Verizian Genesect, or this person is going to play Manetric or something, and you easily just counter the whole top 8. While as a top 32, it's such a wide variety of expanded decks, so there's no way you can really see what's going on there. Next up is Serena. This is our last one here. Hers is pretty long here. For some reason, my silent key is in the middle of it. But what if regionals is all expanded? Would you like that or no? She says, I think I would if they had a ban list and all that. And she said, okay, yeah, it would depend on if expanded was broken or not. I think it adds an extra skill level, which is always welcome. And I think that's very true. You do have to test a lot more for this expanded, not only mainly for regionals, because there's so many different decks that could be played and expanded, and the only way you would know this is by testing and having so much vast knowledge about the expanded and about the tournament and everything like that. So I think Serena's on the right path here. It does maybe increase the skill level already at regionals, and so I asked her, it's all the way from black and white to Age of Origins. There has to be something broken out there, right? And she said, yeah, I mean, eggs plus Vileplume plus Grass Stadium is broken. I'm pretty sure they would institute bans. And just like I said earlier, the bans seems like a really good idea, just to ban certain cards, just like the eggs Vileplume. That just seems totally pretty, bannable right off the back here. And I said, do you think they would have enough insight testing for the first regionals to ban stuff, or would they have to wait? And she says, I think they could. And maybe she's right. Maybe Pokemon already has enough insight about what could be really broke and what's not. The problem is there's so many, little Pokemon cards out there, weird cards, like Donphan. Nobody really expected Donphan to be great until Dylan Bryant actually played it at regionals, and they saw, wow, this card's great. There's probably some other combos out there that we don't know of because there's so many different cards. It's just going to be up to that person actually find out what the combinations here. And I said, do you think expanded hurts newer players though, because it's harder to get older cards? And she said it'd probably detour. I'm not really sure. Dieter. It looks like Dieter. Newer players from going to these events, at least competitive players. Maybe she says that maybe there won't be so many newer players there. Maybe just be competitive players. That's a really good idea, because maybe the not so competitive players aren't like, okay, yeah, we won't go to regionals now because I don't really want to spend all that money to go play at a tournament where I don't own half the cards in, and maybe they don't want to practice that much. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of different stuff here. It's a lot of different to take in. It's a really big question about expanded. It's going to be, will they institute a bans list? Are all regions going to be expanded? I've heard rumors that that all fall regions are going to be expanded, and that the winter regionals are going to be standard. Maybe they'll switch it up like that. Maybe throw in a twist here. Hopefully states, if all regionals are expanded, I hope states are standard. That'd be something cool, and that way the people are complaining right now and are like, oh, I can't get points, or I can't do great at regionals because I don't like expanded, but then they have a shot at states, which is another 4 weekends. So they still have 4 weekends to get their points that way, instead of going to different regionals to get their points through that. Like I said earlier, the states and regionals are two things that you can get points from for that slot. So hopefully they'll do that to I guess, help out the people who don't like expanded, like I said. And maybe it'd be interesting to see what a city's going to be. Is it going to depend on the TO or not? Can the TO say, all right, this is expanded, this is not expanded? We've seen that with league challenges before. We've seen that some league challenges were standard and some were expanded, which is still kind of weird, because depending where you are, what if you're new to the area and you don't know anything about Pokemon, or you don't know that league, and you just show up there one day randomly for a league challenge and you don't know it's expanded or standard? So I guess for sure they would have to have a way to put like this tournament is standard on Pokemon.com. Like on their website, they have to say standard and expanded. I'm not sure if it does say that or not. I haven't really looked at that. Most of the time, I just go to big events and I just know what they're going to be. So I haven't really looked into it. They could already have that system, and it props to Pokemon if they do have that. But hopefully, you enjoyed this video. What do you think about expanded? Do you think it's bad for the game? Do you think it's good that we have this, I guess, all these different combos that you can have for regionals? I guess, like Serena said, it does make the quality of players increase. It does take a lot more skill to practice this stuff because I think there is, like I said, 20 plus different expansions in standard now. You got Black and White all the way to Ancient Origins, and Black and White was what 2011, 2010, maybe something like that. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. It's been out for a really long time. I got some Black and White posters right on my wall, but they sadly don't have the date on them. That'd be pretty nice if they did. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you can see what the some great Pokemon players are thinking. All the people I interviewed have their worlds invited. They're really good players. They know what they're talking about. So hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Have a great day. Alrighty, bye.